our lives are not as normal as other people that haven't been abused. The abuse has just changed their attitude to life, changed their attitude to people. But as abuse victim myself, I'm glad that it's all out in the open now, that everybody knows, the whole world knows. And the Catholic Church knows, and they knew all the time, but they can't deny now that they do know, which they have done throughout years and years and years of their silence. And instead of taking action when they knew the abuse was taking place, they could have saved lives upon lives, and the torture for families and children, and just their silence just has ruined more lives that you could think of.
Il fallimento delle autorità ecclesiastiche, vescovi, superiori religiosi, sacerdoti e altri nell'affrontare adeguatamente questi crimini repugnanti ha giustamente suscitato indignazione e rimane causa di sofferenza e di vergogna per la comunità cattolica.
He said he is keeping bishops accountable, he is removing bishops, but I said to him that he may have removed some, but they're being allowed to resign and walk away, so nobody knows that they have been guilty of anything.
You know, you only have to do a few Google searches to see loads of examples of popes and bishops saying, we didn't know. Like the rest of society, we didn't even understand such things were possible. They did, they lied.
Dublin, August 2018. Zum ersten Mal entschuldigt sich Papst Franziskus öffentlich für die von Priestern der katholischen Kirche begangenen Gräueltaten. 500.000 Gläubige wurden erwartet, nur 130.000 kamen. 40 Jahre zuvor waren 1 Million zum Auftritt von Johannes Paul II. Gekommen. Irland ist tief katholisch und hat eine der größten katholischen Bevölkerungsgruppen in Europa. Die katholische Kirche ist in der Kultur des Landes verwurzelt, aber auch in seinen Machtzentren. Schon immer haben die katholischen Iren ihr Vertrauen und ihre politischen Entscheidungen in die Hände dieser allmächtigen Institution gelegt. Doch seit 2002 haben zahlreiche Berichte und Untersuchungen Licht in mehr als 15.000 Fälle von sexuellem Missbrauch zwischen 1970 und 1990 gebracht. Die von Klerusmitgliedern begangenen Misshandlungen sind also nicht neueren Datums. Papst Franziskus entschuldigt sich aber erst 2018. Für viele kommt die Entschuldigung zu spät. Sein Besuch bleibt umstritten, viele Iren fühlen sich verraten. Es gab hunderte Selbstmorde infolge der Missbräuche. Diejenigen, die mit dem Missbrauch leben, werden die Überlebenden genannt. Martin Gallagher ist einer von ihnen. In seiner Kindheit wurde er von Eugene Green, einem Priester in der Grafschaft Donegal im Nordwesten Irlands, sexuell missbraucht. An seiner Seite Martin Rich, ein ehemaliger Polizist, der als erster Gallaghers Missbrauch ernst nahm.
When we were younger and abused, there was nobody to talk to that we could trust. The priests we couldn't go near. They would laugh at us and call us liars. We couldn't tell our parents because they would have to go to the priest and he'd do the same thing to them. We couldn't tell the guards because the guards and the priests and teachers were all big buddies and they stuck together, so we were alone. Martin here came along and started to investigate Eugene Green, and that opened up a big page in our life because it released a lot of pressure, anxiety, depression, all those bad feelings we were building up for years. So just by talking to Martin the first day, that lifted a big load from my shoulders that somebody was going to help me in the end.
2008 veröffentlichte Martin Rich Breaking the Silence, ein Buch, das von seinen Missbrauchsermittlungen berichtet. Er wirft der katholischen Kirche vor, dass sie nichts unternommen habe, um den jahrzehntelangen Missbrauch zu stoppen, obwohl es bereits mehrere Beschwerden gegen den Priester gab.
I was glad I was there for them because they educated me too, and they're educating society. Because those people are experts because they know what they're talking about, you see. So again, Martin doesn't need my platitudes, but I'm so grateful, and so is the public, for the likes of Martin, like, you know, and thank God he's getting his own life back on track, you know, and it's not easy. We all have bad days, you know, and it can come back and grab us with fear and contempt and everything, but we have to be careful too, because anger can be self-destructive as well, though maybe it's good to hold on to some of it too, to realise what's going on, you know. I would like to say thank you, Martin, again and again and again.
Martin Gallaghers Geschichte ist kein Einzelfall. Die Anschuldigungen wegen sexuellen Missbrauchs in Irland betreffen fast 14.500 Kinder und Jugendliche. Die Verbrechen wurden über mehrere Jahrzehnte hinweg begangen. Irland ist in Europa eines der am stärksten von diesem Phänomen betroffenen Länder. Zum Vergleich, in Belgien, Deutschland und Frankreich wurden seit 2010 mehrere hundert Beschwerden registriert. Die meisten Opfer haben in Dublin, der größten irischen Diözese, Anzeige erstattet. Zwischen 1975 und 2004 waren 12 Priester für 2/3 der in der Hauptstadt eingereichten Klagen verantwortlich. Als Reaktion darauf richtete die Diözese 2002 neben einer staatlichen Stelle den Child Safeguarding and Protection Service ein. Direktor und Koordinator ist seit 2010 Andrew Fagan.
When it became known that, you know, priests had behaved in an abusive way towards children, that was understood as a problem for the priest, not as a problem for the child or for other children. And for a long time, and it's not as if the diocesan authorities didn't do anything about those situations. They did do things, but they were all about trying to fix up the priest and send him back. And they were not child-centered. You know, they did not prioritize the safety of children. Even though lots of things have changed, I'm not sure that perception has changed. I think that a lot of people still think it's a bit risky to allow your children to be involved in church activities. So I would say that there are a lot of parents who have made a decision to distance themselves from the church.
Frank Reburn ist Priester in einer Gemeinde im Norden der Hauptstadt. Er setzt die Kinderschutzrichtlinien der Diözese in die Praxis um. Und wie alle Priester in Irland musste er vor seinem Amtsantritt einen psychologischen Test ablegen.
If I'm meeting with parents and we're preparing their children for the sacrament, say for confirmation or for communion, we will explain to the parents that we have a child safeguarding policy in action here in our parish. No adult is alone with a child. You know, especially here in our own parish, in our sacristy, no adult is alone. That if children are on the premises, we make sure that they're under the care of those who have been guard vetted and those who have completed the training course. Also, if you have any visiting priests, if you have anybody coming into our sacristy, they are obliged to sign in. And we also, like me, we would ask parents, we'd ask guardians of children not to let their child go to the toilet on their own, that they stay there, that they stay in the public area, just making sure that their child is okay. You know, it's been a horrible chapter in the history of the church and in our lives. So it's a really horrible chapter. You know, so I would be hugely passionate and I would do anything that I possibly could to make sure no child is hurt in this church.
Wenn die Kirche sich heute dem Thema stellt, liegt das auch an den vielen Enthüllungen, die publik wurden. Wie die von Darren McGavin. Der 48-Jährige ist auch ein Überlebender. Er wurde von Tony Walsh sexuell missbraucht, der derzeit wegen der Vergewaltigung von über 200 Kindern im Gefängnis sitzt. Darren McGavin ist in einer gewalttätigen Familie aufgewachsen.
At the age of 7, when I went to that school, he became the parish priest. So he was adorned. He was also an impersonator of Elvis Presley. So he was in a thing called the All Priest Show, and they went around the country in halls and clubs. They got paid. So everyone thought, isn't he brilliant? Isn't he great? How amazing is he? And then when he talks on the pulpit about his Lord Jesus Christ, Jesus is my friend. I'm going to save you. He went home and told me parents. So the dirty secret was out. I now know you're beating that child and your wife. So now both my parents, which were adults, were vulnerable to the priest and in his pocket. Because he knows their dirty secret. So the priest suggested that I take your son out of this environment because you've damaged him. He's acting out. And you're beating him more and you don't know how to deal with him. If he comes with me, I can teach him love and he can serve morning masses and we'll bring him to lovely places. Take a bit of pressure off you. To somebody, a mother of 5 children, they were all going mad. And the husband was very rarely there. And when he was beating the shit out of her. That was brilliant. My child is safe. What if I was to tell you that a young boy was tied up over a coffee table, bound by his hands to his ankles, and noticed a candle burning, a thin one, but just thought it was a clerical candle. And while I was told that I'd burn in hell for all eternity, I was raped with the burning candle.
Mit 12 Jahren sah Darren McGavin einen Dokumentarfilm über Pädophilie. Er erkannte, dass seine Beziehung zu dem Priester nicht normal war. Von diesem Tag an ging er zu einer Kinderpsychiaterin. Er hatte immer Angst davor, dass der Richter seiner Aussage während des Prozesses nicht glauben würde.
The lady gave me the doll and says to me, "Can you show me what happened?" And I said, "You want me to stick me cock and me penis inside the doll in front of you?" And she said, "What?" I said, "But you told me to show you. So you want me to, like, rip the doll and ride the doll?" She goes, "No, just show me." I said, "I don't understand." I said, "I'd have to do it." I said, "But you said it was wrong. So why do you want me to do something that's wrong? I don't understand that." So they were like, "That kind of makes sense. We didn't come across that before." So I said, "How about just asking me what happened?" So when I was asking, I had to keep asking them and taking the tissues at 12 and saying, "Are you okay?" Because I had traumatised them. To me it was okay, because I was used to it.
Als Therapeut kann Darren McGavin heute anderen Missbrauchsopfern helfen. Er selbst hat 5 Selbstmordversuche überlebt und gehört zu den 10% der Opfer, die ihren Fall den Behörden gemeldet haben. 2014 sagte Papst Franziskus in einem Interview mit der italienischen Zeitung La Repubblica, er schätze die Zahl der pädophilen Priester, einschließlich Bischöfe und Kardinäle, auf 2%. In einer von Spotlight in Boston durchgeführten Untersuchung schätzte Richard Seib, Psychiater und Priester im Ruhestand, die Zahl jedoch höher ein, nämlich auf 6%. Laut Seib misshandelt ein Pädophiler innerhalb der Kirche 250 Opfer in seinem Leben. In Irland entspräche das 280 pädophilen Priestern mit 70.000 Opfern und in ganz Europa etwa 11.200 Priestern, die über 2,8 Millionen Opfer missbraucht hätten. Das sind die Zahlen, die die Kirche zu vertuschen versuchte. Com O'Gorman, ebenfalls ein Überlebender, kämpft um Wiedergutmachung.
The way that the church conducted itself and the hypocrisy and the corruption at the heart of the church was revealed. And that led to people in Ireland rejecting the moral authority of the church. It led to an end of the political dominance of the Catholic Church here in Ireland. You know, for decades, the Vatican called us liars. You know, they said we were telling lies, that we were fantasists, that this was an anti-Catholic agenda, that there was no cover-up. So now the Pope says there was a cover-up and we're meant to think he's great for acknowledging the truth? That's the minimum.
Mary Collins ist auch eine Überlebende. Sie wurde als 13-Jährige von einem Priester vergewaltigt. Sie engagiert sich als Aktivistin, kämpft gegen Missbrauch und Kinderpornografie im Internet. 2014 berief Papst Franziskus sie in die päpstliche Kinderschutzkommission. 2017 trat sie aus Protest zurück. Sie beklagte den Widerstand in der Kurie.
The commission was experts outside the church, child protection experts from every area, brought together to advise the Pope, to bring expertise into the church from outside. And I went along with it because if the church was sincere in wanting to change, I thought that I should work to help. But I found after a couple of years that there was so much resistance in the Vatican to change. They were undermining the work of the Commission, they were resisting the work of the Commission, and really we were making recommendations, the Pope was approving them, and they were not being implemented, so it was a waste of time. The Curia, the civil service, the Pope's civil service, they saw us on the Commission as people coming in from the outside and interfering. The importance of child protection was ignored, really. It was more politics.
Die jüngste Entscheidung von Papst Franziskus, sich zu den Skandalen innerhalb der Kirche zu äußern, zeigt den Wunsch nach mehr Transparenz im Vatikan. Heute werden Beschwerden und Zeugenaussagen über sexuellen Missbrauch an zivile Behörden weitergeleitet. 2015 erlaubten die Iren die Homo-Ehe per Referendum. 2018 widerrief das Land die 8. Änderung seiner Verfassung, um das Recht auf Abtreibung zuzulassen. Fast 80% der irischen Bevölkerung sind katholisch. Es sind also Katholiken, die für diese beiden Reformen gestimmt haben, die kirchlichen Richtlinien widersprechen. Die Zahlen verdeutlichen ein Paradoxon. Die irische Gesellschaft bleibt kulturell katholisch, hat sich aber von der Kirche als Institution distanziert. Dieser Trend ist in ganz Europa zu beobachten, dem einzigen Kontinent, auf dem die katholische Bevölkerung in den vergangenen Jahren stagniert bzw. zurückgegangen ist. Irland hat seitdem versucht, seine Wunden zu heilen und die Sicherheit der Kinder zu verbessern. Das Land verstand, dass die Kirche selbst nichts heilen würde. Eine wichtige Lektion für andere Länder wie Australien, Frankreich, Polen und die USA, in denen Opfer sexuellen Missbrauchs innerhalb der Kirche erst allmählich Gehör finden. All diese Stimmen zeigen das Ausmaß der Vertuschung und die viel zu häufige Reaktion der Kirche. Schweigen oder noch schlimmer, Komplizenschaft. In den USA ist der Fall Theodore McCarrick ein weiteres öffentlichkeitswirksames Beispiel für dieses Verhalten. Der Kardinal wurde 2019 nach langjährigen Anschuldigungen wegen sexuellen Missbrauchs, von denen er behauptete, er könne sich nicht erinnern, als emeritierter Erzbischof endgültig aus dem Amt entlassen.
On keeping my own faith, yes, I've kept my own faith, and my beliefs, but the institution of the church does not mean that much to me now. The institutional church has really, I've lost all trust in it. I still have a relationship with God, and I will still pray, and I still consider myself a Catholic.
It's a great question. Do I have faith? I don't have religious faith, but I have I suppose, an even greater faith in humanity, in goodness, in life, in healing. An even greater faith in something that I know to be true, and that is that no matter how awful the harm done, no matter how awful the offence caused, that if we're prepared to own it, to face it with courage and with truth and with compassion and with love and with a commitment to moving forward, then healing and recovery and progress isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And that this I know, this I have unshakable faith in.
It's the living in silence which is the most awful thing. And for so many victims, it's been too much, and they've taken their own lives, as we know. So we have to think about the countries where this is still happening and think of the children there.